Violence is the cornerstone of the first-person shooter. From the gleeful brutality of Doom, the massive scale of Battlefield, to the frenetic action of Call of Duty, violence is the linchpin of all interaction within the game. They aren't called first-person shooters for nothing. But violence is a morally complicated situation. Self-defense? A morally just war. For the protection of innocent civilians. Some games have attempted to deal with the morality of violence, often to less than stellar effect. But one series stands out in its approach to morality and violence. Metro. The Metro game franchise, developed by 4A Games, is based off the novels of the same name by Dmitry Glukovsky. Set approximately 20 years after an apocalyptic nuclear war wipes out most of civilization, the survivors in Moscow live within its metro system, forming statehoods at the various stations as the surface has become highly irradiated and uninhabitable. But unfortunately, the fighting is not over. Various factions vie for control of the metro, including the communist Red Line and neo-Nazi Fourth Reich, along with others such as the trade-oriented Hansa. If the human infighting wasn't bad enough, some stations are attacked by highly mutated creatures with a taste for human flesh. It is into this world the player is thrust as Artyom, a young man born just before the war. Metro 2033, the first game in the series, sees young Artyom take a long, winding, and perilous journey from his home station in an effort to combat a mysterious race known as the Dark Ones. The player, controlling Artyom, will be presented with a wide variety of choices, determining his morality and the ending that the player gets. It is important to note that the gameplay of Metro is just as brutal as its world. Artyom can die very quickly, and resources are highly limited, especially on higher difficulties. Enemies are tough and vicious. One small mistake could have Artyom drowning in a pool of his own blood. Metro's morality is featured as a binary good-evil morality system, represented with different endings, one good, one bad. Metro only ever considers one ending to each game canon, but utilizes this as a form of character development. The canon ending from Metro 2033, the first game in the franchise, is actually the bad ending. Later entries in the franchise would have the good ending as the canon ending, asking more of the player. Because in order to get these endings, the player must make choices. Many games feature a simple press A for good choice, press B for evil choice system, but not Metro. What makes Metro unique is how it presents these choices. Metro asks the player to make choices within their gameplay. Choices with consequences. Throughout the game, Artyom will encounter forces he cannot comprehend. Ghosts, shadowed figures, radioactive anomalies. How does he respond? Or, really, how does the player respond? Do you open fire at the first hint of danger? Show hostility to any potential threat? Or do you wait to see what happens? When you must get by a group of human opponents who would kill you as soon as look at you, do you silently murder them with throwing knives and suppressed guns, allowing for easy passage? Or do you avoid them whenever possible, and knock out those you cannot simply sneak by? If you encounter a defensive monster roaring at you, do you open fire or walk away? If a starving child asks for money, do you give it? You won't get anything in return. These are the choices of Metro. What makes these choices interesting and sets apart Metro is that Metro makes the good choice the more difficult one. Doing the right thing is harder. Doing the right thing is more likely to kill you. Doing the right thing costs the player. Killing your way through the Metro is the easy option, the easy out. But Metro asks more. Metro asks you not to pull the trigger. It asks you to avoid killing whenever possible. It's not that you won't engage in combat throughout the series, as the world in Metro is a vicious one, and defending your life is not a sin. But do you seek combat? Do you go out of your way to kill? Do you encourage violence rather than react to it? Do you play Metro like any other first-person shooter?